There are cities, and then there is Varanasi, a place so old that history itself seems younger beside it. On the banks of the sacred Ganga stands a city that has witnessed empires rise and fall. Saints meditate, poets write, and millions come searching for something they cannot explain. Some call it Varanasi, some call it Banaras, and for millions of devotees, it is simply Kashi, the city of Lord Shiva. But Varanasi is not just a destination. It is an emotion, a living maze of faith, fire, music, death, devotion, and life itself. Here, every sunrise feels ancient, every alley hides a story, and every face seems connected to something eternal. Welcome to the oldest living city in the world. Walking through Varanasi feels like stepping into another century. The lanes are narrow, chaotic, almost impossible to understand. Cows block the roads, scooters squeeze through impossible spaces. Temple bells echo from every direction. And yet somehow, everything moves in perfect rhythm. For thousands of years, pilgrims have traveled here believing that Kashi is not an ordinary city. It is said that dying here brings liberation, freedom from the endless cycle of rebirth. That belief alone has shaped the soul of this city. Saints, scholars, musicians, monks, widows, travelers, and seekers all have walked these same streets. And even today, Varanasi continues to pull people toward itself like a spiritual magnet. Not because it is perfect, but because it is real. The heartbeat of Varanasi lives beside the river. More than 80 ghats stretch along the Ganga, each with its own history, emotion, and identity. At Asi Ghat, mornings begin softly. The first sunlight touches the river while chants float through the air. Students practice yoga. Tea sellers prepare the first kulhad chai of the day. Boats begin to move slowly across the water. But as the day grows, the city transforms. At Dashashwamedh Ghat, life explodes into motion. Pilgrims arrive carrying flowers and diyas. Astrologers sit under umbrellas reading horoscopes. Artists sketch the riverbanks. Children dive into the water, laughing fearlessly. At Manikarnika Ghat, the atmosphere changes. The noise fades. The air becomes heavy with smoke and silence. This is one of the most sacred cremation grounds in Hindu tradition. For centuries, funeral pyres have burned here day and night without stopping. Families travel from distant corners of India carrying the bodies of loved ones, believing that cremation in Kashi grants moksha, liberation of the soul. To outsiders, it may seem overwhelming, but to many Hindus, this is not a place of fear. It is acceptance, a reminder that death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it. And somehow, in the middle of fire and ashes, Varanasi still feels deeply alive. As the sun disappears, Varanasi prepares for its most magical ritual, the Ganga Aarti. Every evening, thousands gather along the Ghats to witness this grand ceremony dedicated to the river Ganga. Priests dressed in traditional attire move in synchronized rhythm, holding massive fire lamps toward the sky. Conch shells blow. Bells ring endlessly. Mantras echo through the night air. And suddenly, the entire riverfront transforms into a sea of light. Some people watch with devotion, some with curiosity. Some simply stand there in silence, unable to explain what they are feeling. But almost everyone leaves changed. Because in Varanasi, spirituality is not hidden inside temples. It lives openly in the streets, in the smoke, in the music, and in the river itself. Beyond the Ghats lies another world, the famous lanes of Banaras, a labyrinth so confusing, even maps struggle to understand it. Here, every corner tells a story. Tiny shops sell flowers, incense, rudraksha beads, and sweets made from recipes older than most countries. Ancient havelis lean over narrow passageways. Temple doors appear suddenly between homes. The smell of sandalwood mixes with chai and street food. And somewhere inside these crowded lanes, artisans continue traditions passed down for generations, especially the legendary Banarasi silk sari. Hand-woven with extraordinary detail, these saris are more than clothing, they are works of art. In quiet workshops, weavers spend weeks, sometimes months, creating a single master. Varanasi is also a city of music. The sound of the shehnai, made immortal by the legendary musician Ustad Bismillah Khan, still feels connected to these streets. Morning ragas drift across the river at sunrise. Classical performances continue late into the night during winter festivals. Even silence here feels musical. And then there are the sadhus. Some meditate quietly beside the Ghats. Some wander barefoot through the city covered in ash. Others spend years searching for spiritual truth far away from modern life. In Varanasi, faith exists in countless forms, and whether one believes in it or not, the city forces you to think about life differently. But Banaras is not only about spirituality, it is also a paradise for food lovers. Mornings begin with hot kachori sabzi, spicy, crispy, and unforgettable. Lassi shops serve thick yogurt drinks inside clay cups topped with cream, nuts, and saffron. Tea arrives steaming in earthen kulhads. Jalebis sizzle in giant pans. Street-side chats explode with sweet, spicy, and tangy flavors all at once. And somehow, every meal here feels deeply connected to the city's personality. Rich, warm, chaotic, comforting. Just like Banaras itself. Varanasi is beautiful, but it is not polished. The city can feel overwhelming. The crowds are intense, the streets are noisy, and the chaos never truly stops. There are scams, aggressive touts, traffic jams, and moments that test your patience. But maybe that is exactly why people remember it forever. Because Varanasi does not try to impress you. It simply exists, exactly as it has for centuries. Raw, unfiltered, ancient. And if you stop resisting the chaos, the city slowly begins to reveal itself. Varanasi cannot be understood in a single visit. It is not just a tourist destination. It is an experience, one that stays with you long after you leave. A city where death is accepted openly, yet life is celebrated endlessly. Where spirituality and chaos walk side by side. Where every sunrise feels like a beginning, and every evening feels eternal. Maybe that is why millions continue to return here. Not searching for answers, but searching for connection. To history, to faith, to humanity, and perhaps to themselves. Because in the end, Varanasi is not just a city on the banks of a river. It is the soul of India itself. Kashi, older than history, alive beyond time.